Winter Sunday here on CBS continues from Foxborough. Welcome to Gillette Stadium, everyone. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the New England Patriots. The weather, in a word, ugly. It is chilly. It is raining. It has done a little sleeting, and it's not likely to get much better. Greg Gumbel, Dan Deerdorf, the Pittsburgh Steelers at 8-3. The New England Patriots at 7-4, coming your way in high definition here on CBS. We're glad to have you with us, and not a game to be taken lightly, Dan.
No, I'll say playoff implications on both sides. The weather's ugly, as you say, but at least neither one of these two teams is a dome team. They're both used to playing in inclement weather.
You saw number 33, Gary Russell deep. The Pittsburgh Steelers won the toss, and they're taking the opening kick, and we are underway. This one's short, coming down at about the 6 to Kerry Davis. And Davis goes down at about the 20-yard line. Looks like a loose football. The big pileup at the 20, and as they unravel the players.
Well, Davis at first was acting awfully nonchalant, like the ball came out after he hit the ground. And then it was kind of delayed reaction where he started to go back after it. The officials are certainly acting like it matters who has it, and as you can see, Pittsburgh retains. All right, let's take a look at it. Oh, clearly a fumble. No doubt about it. And somebody for the Steelers did some yeoman's work underneath there getting the ball away from some Patriots.
And now a penalty marker is down. Ed Hockley is our referee today, and here's his call.
After the play was over, a personal foul, unnecessary roughness by the offense, number 57. After this is to the goal, it's first down and 10.
The penalty is on Kieran Fox, and that will back the Steelers up to their own 10-yard line or thereabouts.
Well, a little bit of both. Excellent special teams coverage by the Patriots and a little dumbness by the Steelers to put themselves in a hole early.
So first down for Pittsburgh from their own 10-yard line. Ben Roethlisberger calling the signals for the Steelers. Pass out to the near side. That is Hines Ward, and not much there for Ward. Roethlisberger's been fighting the usual bumps and bruises an NFL quarterback collects. 11 touchdown passes, 11 interceptions. Ben has also rushed for a pair of TDs this season.
Well, the big story here is going to be Willie Parker, offensively for Pittsburgh. How effective is he going to be? He's got a left knee that's troublesome. Bothered him 10 days ago in their game against Cincinnati. Had a couple good days of practice, but it is a question mark.
On 2nd and 8. This is Parker, running room, right side, 20-yard line, out to the 25 and a first down. Take a quick look at the Pittsburgh offensive line. The centers today have their work cut out for them. Steelers center Justin Hartwig will be the man directly opposite Big Vince Wilfork of the Patriots. And the Steelers, as Dan said, want to establish their running game, and they will look to Willie Parker, who has been battling a gimpy knee. Line of scrimmage, the 24-yard line, first down Pittsburgh. This is Parker, this time coming to near side, and gets stacked up for a loss back at the 22-yard line. The Patriots 3-4 defense. Mike Wright starts at left defensive end in place of Ty Warren, who is not playing today. The rookie linebacker out of Tennessee, Gerard Mayo, playing a bigger and bigger role in the defense. His 98 tackles lead the Pats. And in the secondary, New England has also battled injuries. Ellis Hobbs, bothered by a sore shoulder, but he starts at right corner. 2nd and 12. Roethlisberger throws, intercepted, picked off, Mike Vrabel. That is the first time in his 4th career game against the New England Patriots Ben Roethlisberger has thrown an interception.
Well, there had to be a moment there where Mike Vrabel said to himself, my God, he's actually going to throw it. Because Mike Vrabel is off to the right of your screen, just standing there, and Ben throws it. Yes, it was a little over his head, and he made a nice catch. I can only assume that Ben thought he was going to somehow float that over Vrabel's head, but Vrabel never even had to move. He just had to jump a little to make the catch.
First big turnover of the day goes in favor of the Patriots. The ball just inside the Pittsburgh 15. Cassel from the shotgun, throwing for the corner of the end zone and overthrows his tight end, Ben Watson. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Well, that has been a problem for Roethlisberger, and it is uncharacteristic. And especially what a terrible way to start a game on your first possession and deep in your own territory.
Meanwhile, look at the Steelers' red zone defense. Cassel, short pop over the middle. Welker inside the 5 to about the 2.
So dangerous underneath. Any type of a crossing pattern, an option route, Wes Welker, almost impossible to cover. And again, his favorite place underneath, and for a guy only 5'9", when you catch the ball underneath, you know you're going to get tackled by linebackers, by safeties. That's exactly what happened there with Ferrier and Polamalu. It doesn't matter. He is tough, tough, tough.
Mike Vrabel is now in on offense for the Patriots. The give is to number 34, Sammy Morris. Touchdown. That's 27 straight red zone possessions the Patriots have scored, and they grabbed the early lead off the turnover.
And a little bit of everything that time from Josh McDaniels, the offensive coordinator for the Patriots. Mixed it up, running the ball, throwing it underneath the Welker, out of the shotgun. Excellent looking, short scoring drive.
Kostkowski's extra point attempt is good. Off the left side, Sammy Morris bulls his way to the end zone. Matt Cassel says we're on the board first, 7-0 Patriots. Impressive offensive outing last week against the Miami Dolphins. The Patriots continue on their first possession today.
A lot easier when they're 14-yard drives. Pittsburgh.
Other side of the field, Ben Roethlisberger with a little correctional work ahead of him.
Well, how about the start they had? They fumbled the kickoff, got a kickoff return, got a penalty, and then an interception.
This is Kerry Davis, who fumbled last time he returned. This one out across the 25. And that's where the Steelers will try to right the ship. They trail 7-0.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. Nikon. Check out the ultra-compact and easy-to-use Nikon D60. And by the 2009 Cadillac CTS.
Welcome back to Foxborough, everyone, where the Pittsburgh Steelers will start from their own 27-yard line, 1st and 10. Down 7-0 after the turnover. And straight ahead is Mewelde Moore. And welcome back to Gillette Stadium. Greg Gumbel along with Dan Deerdorf. As you alluded to earlier on the NFL Today, Dan, this is a much more important game for the New England Patriots than it is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
You're right, Greg. The Patriots have a really poor divisional record, a bad conference record. This, of course, would be another loss in the conference if they were to lose to Pittsburgh today. And I think the only chance they would have to make the playoffs would be to win the remaining games on their schedule.
Now 2nd and 7. The give is to Moore, and Moore gets nowhere on the left side. Teddy Bruschi making the stop.
Well, let's check out the AFC North. You see Pittsburgh leading going into today at 8-3. Baltimore has moved up to 8-4. So the Steelers need to win to maintain their one-game advantage. But you notice they've got that 4-0 division record, which when it comes to winning a division after the head-to-head is the first tiebreaker.
Roethlisberger looking at a 3rd and 7. Here come the Patriots. Roethlisberger throwing, and that's incomplete. Intended for his tight end, Heath Miller, covered by Gary Guyton, the rookie linebacker out of Georgia Tech.
Well, they did a great job of protection. You could see Merriweather came on a corner blitz, and it got picked up, giving Ben all the time that he needed. There comes Merriweather, 31, coming in off the bottom, but he gets handled, and a good job there by Moelde Moore. So Ben had all the time in the world, but when your receiver slips and goes down, that's that.
Wes Welker averaging 11.5 yards a return on punts. Takes this one from his own 31, and he won't get anything on this one. We have a penalty marker down on the near side of the field.
It's back on the other side of the 50, back at the 45.
And Ed Hockley talks it over and going to tell us about it.
During the kick, holding by the receiving team number 88. That 10-yard penalty is enforced from the dead ball spot. New England keeps the ball, first down.
Penalty is on Sam Aiken. It'll be Patriots ball when we continue from Gillette Stadium after this. Welcome back, everyone. First down at their own 20-yard line for the New England Patriots. And Matt Cassel, short drop. Going to throw up the sideline, and that's caught by Randy Moss. Moss out of bounds across the 45 at about the 47-yard line.
Well, Ike Taylor, number 24, is going to shadow Randy Moss most of this ball game. And there's Ike Taylor starting out. And again, look at Randy Moss. That deceptive, you see, he almost comes to a stop. And then he just accelerates into that void between the corner and the safety, in that case, Polamalu. He lulls people to sleep.
First down from the 47 now, and the give is to Sammy Morris. And Morris up to about midfield. A pickup of 3, and it'll be 2nd and 7. As we mentioned, watching the centers today, 6th-year vet Dan Copeland will have to do his job with a sore elbow up against Pittsburgh's 3-man front. The backs and the receivers, Randy Moss comes off a spectacular 8-catch, 125-yard, 3-touchdown outing at Miami last week.
Well, we've got both of the Pro Bowl nose tackles in this game, Casey Hampton and Vince Wilfork. So you're right. Copeland and Hartwig, they've got a full plate set up for them this afternoon.
On 2nd and 7, Cassel from the shotgun. Good protection. Throws incomplete. Patriots fans want a penalty flag, and there is none forthcoming. The pass intended for Jabbar Gaffney, and William Gay made the defensive play.
Well, yes, there is a lot of contact, but keep in mind, if the receiver runs into the defensive back, and let's see what happens here. Well, no, that's really not the case. That looked like William Gay went right through Gaffney on his way trying to make a play. Initially, I thought Gaffney initiated the contact. I stand corrected. That could have easily and should have drawn a flag.
3rd and 7. And Cassel, running out of time, goes down at his own 43-yard line. Aaron Smith and James Farrier in on the quarterback.
Well, as they do so well, the Steelers bring pressure from lots of different angles, but this is a coverage sack. Matt Cassel had time. You see he sets up. He doesn't have anywhere to go with the football. The pressure came in, but I think it came in late enough. That could have been a completion if he had found someone open.
38 sacks for the Pittsburgh Steelers, 2nd best total in the National Football League. And now Hansen punt high. Holmes at his own 6. Looking for running room. Gets a block to the 20. Another block to the 35 and out of bounds. fine special teams play. Gerard Mayo finally making the stop, but some pretty good operating room for Ben Roethlisberger and the Pittsburgh offense when we come back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Chevy, an American revolution, and by Red Lobster. Taste the difference wood grilling makes, now at Red Lobster.
Welcome back, everyone. First down for the Steelers now at their own 36-yard line after the fine punt return by Santonio Holmes. Roethlisberger under center and Parker in the backfield behind him. And Roethlisberger to throw. Pulls it down once, right over the middle. Heath Miller inside the New England 45 to the 43. While we have a moment, got a sports fan on your gift list? Shop online at the CBS Sports Store and beat the crowds on officially licensed NFL team gear. Click on shop at cbssports.com and save big. So now the Steelers spread the field. They are in Patriots territory at the New England 43. And there are a hefty number of Steeler fans in the house. Roethlisberger pulls it down and then throws incomplete. That looked like it might have been tipped at the line.
It did start to take off. Initially, Ben did a great job of stepping up to avoid pressure. And then when he lets the ball go, it takes off at a... And it does. You're exactly right. Mike Vrabel, Mr. Everything for the Patriots, gets a hand on it. That almost certainly would have been a completion after a really, really good job of Roethlisberger getting away from the rush.
Instead, it's 2nd and 10.
That's twice Vrabel's got a hand on the football. One he intercepted, that one he tipped.
Roethlisberger gets it off to Parker. And Parker to the 40. It'll be 3rd and 6. There's Mike Tomlin.
A most impressive man. I remember back to last year when he got hired. Dan Rooney made the announcement. I think a lot of us went, gee whiz, Mike Tomlin. What? He went 3 minutes and you go, well, I know what Dan Rooney saw. Whatever it is, it oozes out of Mike Tomlin.
On 3rd and 6, Roethlisberger throwing, and that one's complete inside the 30 to Nate Washington. He's to the 25, and it's a first down for the Steelers. 15-yard pickup.
Everyone knows that the strength of the New England defense is the front 7. There can be some openings in this secondary. Rodney Harrison is on injured reserve, and that time a big cushion being given by Deltha O'Neal, signed as a free agent this year. That was a really good route by Washington, turning O'Neal all the way around.
Pretty balanced play selection thus far. Now from the 25. Rain continues to come down. Roethlisberger to throw. Throwing outside, has his man and right through the arms of Santonio Holmes.
From a couple hundred yards away, you could see Santonio Holmes. His head jerks upfield before the ball gets there. Let's see if he looks it all the way into his hands before he looks back upfield. Nope. Nope, he didn't look it right into his hands. Wanted to look upfield to see where he was going to go, and it cost him the catch.
2nd and 10. On this drive, 4 out of 5 plays have been through the air for the Steelers. On the ground here with Willie Parker, he goes nowhere. Gary Guyton made the stop.
And that has nothing to do with the condition of Willie Parker's knee. That has everything to do with the blocking scheme up front, where Gary Guyton is standing right at the line of scrimmage, right in the hole. Dead play.
So a loss of 2, 3rd and 12. Roethlisberger needs the 15-yard line for a first down. with time, throwing, got his man. Close to the 10-yard line. That's number 85, Nate Washington once again, and that's a first down.
Well, you called it, Greg. Your first words were with time. Excellent work by the offensive line up front. Watch the vision that Roethlisberger is afforded downfield. A perfect pocket in front of him. He can step up, and after almost dropping the ball, Nate Washington is able to hold on. He almost lost possession on that football.
Now you're looking at a New England sore spot. Red zone defense. 31st in the NFL out of 32 teams. They've allowed 4 straight touchdowns in red zone visits by the opposition. This is Willie Parker. Parker to the 6.
I asked Bill Belichick how troubled he was by that, and he said, well, what do you think? He said it's just flat terrible. For a guy who's prided, he prides himself on being a defensive coach first, that has to really eat away at Bill Belichick, because that is, quite frankly, I'm not sure I've ever seen a number approaching that on a Patriots defense.
2nd and 6, 9th play of this drive. Roethlisberger rolling, gonna keep it. Inside the 5, diving to about the 2, and very close to a first down.
Well, not many style points being afforded that run by Ben Roethlisberger, but it certainly was effective. Ben moves very, very well in the pocket. Not really a guy that wants to get away and run downfield, but you saw he made a guy miss, extended the play, and almost converted.
And on 3rd and 1, the Steelers bring 3 tight ends. Gary Russell, the deep back in the backfield. And Russell with the handoff. Second effort, did he get it?
That's going to be awfully close. The Steelers have never replaced Jerome Bettis in a short yardage situation like this. Their backs today are 209, 209, 215. Davis at 2 1/4. They miss the 260 pounds that Jerome Bettis used to bring to a short yardage conversion.
And we're going to get a measurement here. It would look to be short from here.
Well, the second effort made it close. And you are correct.
4th and that much. Pittsburgh not very successful on 4th down attempts.
And that was a long one. You can say 4th and 1. That's a full yard to convert that.
So Jeff Reed comes onto the field with the rest of the field goal unit.
And again, I think the lack of a big, heavy, thundering type of back also figures into that decision.
And in this weather, nothing is a gimme. 23 straight field goals from inside the 20 for Reed. This is a 20-yard attempt. Down and up and good. And with 2:51 to play in the first, Pittsburgh dents the scoreboard. 7-3 New England. Hey, NFL Play 60 is committed to fighting childhood obesity by getting kids active for 60 minutes a day. On this day of giving, donate now at NFL.com/Play60 to help kids get active and healthy in your community. Ellis Hobbs deep to receive the kick from Jeff Reed. There's Hobbs, number 27. Hobbs back to the 25. And not much further.
Well, for you, those of you just joining us, let's keep an eye on a couple things. The 2 offensive tackles for New England, Matt Light and Nick Kasier, have their hands full today against James Harrison and Lamar Woodley. Harrison with 12, Woodley with 10.5, and then, of course, backing then up the great, the fun to watch, the incomparable Troy Polamalu, he of the flowing locks and the unbelievable athleticism. and he's been healthy all year, playing in every game. So key for Pittsburgh.
On first down, Sammy Morris with running room. Out to about the 33. How about his work ethic? Wasn't it fun to hear Mike Tomlin talking about how it's tough to even keep him off the practice field?
And he is, of course, a lot of times right at the line. This time he's playing off, which means he's got to make the second level play, and that's what he does right there on Sammy Morris. Such a sure tackler, even coming in from the side. You notice that Morris had, that was it. He was going down in the Polamalu tackle.
Second and short yardage. Sammy Morris. And Morris looks to have enough for a first down. Let's check in with James Brown in New York City. JB.
Greg and Dan, after Thomas Jones ran 59 yards to pay dirt to tie the game at 7, Denver's Jake Cutler and Eddie Royal said, hey, we can do it through the air. Eddie Royal, 59 yards to pay dirt. Wow. Tied. Now broken. 14-7. Denver on top late in the first. Greg and Dan.
All right, JB, and you know, Greg, Eddie Royal, the question mark as to whether he was going to play today. Without him, Denver really struggles offensively.
First down now, New England, their own 36-yard line. Cassel out of the shotgun with time, now running out of time. On the move, throws, has Randy Moss, and he dropped it.
All that wonderful work by the offensive line and by Matt Cassel of moving around, extending this play for 2 or 3 seconds. A good job by Randy Moss of staying active. Again, he settles in, breaks away, finds a clearing, and then that. So many good things negated by this play at the end. This ball, does it hit him in the face mask? After he bobbles it, it hits him right in the face.
Dan, even the great ones?
Yes.
Second and 10. This time Cassel throwing out far side, complete to Kevin Falk, and Falk brought down at about the 43 once again to hard-working Mr. Dynamite in New York.
Hey, Greg, after Harry Douglas of Atlanta muffed the punt, LT in San Diego made him pay 3 yards out. LT takes it in. San Diego nursing a 1-point lead, 7-6 over Atlanta. Back to Greg and Dan.
Oh, JB, San Diego nursing their season right now. Denver leading the way at 6-5. San Diego at 4-7. 3rd and 3 now for Cassel and the Patriots.
If they lose that game, the sound you hear will be a total collapse.
The give is to Falk. Kevin Falk cut down at the 45-yard line, and that'll bring on a punting unit. Lamar Woodley and James Ferrier combining for the stop.
It is so hard to squeeze yardage out of this Pittsburgh defense.
How many years have you been saying that?
Well, for a long, long time, for a couple of decades. And of course, this unit, number one's all the way down the board. So it makes it all the more exasperating when you get a chance for a big, big play like that pass to Moss and you don't convert.
Santonio Holmes back at his own 10-yard line for the kick from Chris Henson. And Holmes going to let this one fly. Bounces on the goal line and into the end zone for the touchback. We have come to the end of the first quarter. It's a 7-3 lead for the New England Patriots. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Welcome back to Gillette Stadium for the start of the second quarter. The rain continues to fall. The fans continue to watch. First down from the 20-yard line. Roethlisberger from the Weldy Moore for a couple of yards. See where they've been starting. It was interesting from Ben Roethlisberger telling us last night, Dan, about the increasing number of plays that he calls out there. And here are the Steelers going without the huddle.
Yeah, they love to use this no huddle, in which case Ben calls the plays. And he said he's up to 40 or 50% of the plays during the course of the season. He said, I'm calling on my own. Some games up to as many as 3 quarters.
And we got movement up front.
I would call that movement.
False start, offense. Number 72.
Darnell
5-yard
Stapleton, the
penalty.
right guard.
Second
Now,
down.
Mike Tomlin clarified for us, this doesn't mean that Ben Roethlisberger has the entire playbook in front of him to call.
He's working within the framework of what they would like to run in these given situations. But Ben said, you know, he'll go 3-4 plays in a row without hearing Bruce Arians, the offensive coordinator, in his ear with a recommendation. And let me tell you, there's not a quarterback in the league who would not love that kind of freedom.
Pittsburgh doubling up on the time of possession. New England with the lead on the scoreboard, 2nd and 13. Roethlisberger throws over the middle and has his man, that's Hines Ward. And Ward out across the 25 to about the 26 or 27-yard line.
Well, Hines Ward, who for 11 years has been just doing it the hard way in this league, settles in, knows he's going to take a shot, but he gets away from Gerard Mayo. And it does from Gary Guyton, rather, 59. He gets away from Guyton right there, who looks like he's got him. But Hines Ward surprises people with his lower body strength. From the waist down, this guy is strong. As we all know, from the waist up, he's tough and mean.
Steelers spread the field on 3rd and 3. Under pressure, Roethlisberger throws, and that is incomplete. Intended for Heath Miller.
Oh, man, great work by Ben of escaping and delivering a really catchable ball, and Heath Miller just drops it. Teddy Bruschi, one of the guys coming up the middle, and Bruschi does, you know, he gets faked out by Ben. Ben buys the time, and Heath Miller, more often than not, yeah, he had to slow down and come back for it, but, man, he had it where he could have caught it.
Mitch Berger kicks it away. Wes Welker makes the fair catch at the 35-yard line. 13:04 to play in the first half of a 7-3 football game. 13:04 to play here in the second quarter as the rain continues to come down. And Dan, you were just mentioning not an empty seat.
They're here. Kudos to the New England crowd. It's bad, bad weather, and this place is jammed.
This pass for Welker out to the near side is incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Well, that play was set up pretty well, but that was just not a good throw from Cassel. He dropped that in there all the way down at the shoelaces of Wes Welker.
Matt Cassel coming off of back-to-back 400-yard games throwing the ball. 400 against the Jets, 415 a week ago today at Miami.
Well, a lot of times a big yardage game comes in a losing effort, like it was against the Jets in that overtime loss, but they just crushed Miami with him guiding the offense of the Patriots to over 500 total yards in the game.
Running out of time, and Cassel's not going to get the play off. So that'll be a delay of game. They're going to back it off 5 yards.
It's 2nd down.
In case you're wondering, Cassel today 3 out of 7 for 46 yards. Cassel flips to Sammy Morris. Morris with running room across the 40 to about the 41-yard line, maybe the 42, before Ryan Clark brings him down.
Well, take a look at what quarterbacks over the years have done the following week after back-to-back 400-yard games.
And Marino fell flat on his face, didn't he?
Yeah, you can see that Mr. Fouts, Mr. Marino, and Mr. Sims all converted the third week for a win. Billy Volek ended up losing. Of course, we'll know about Mr. Cassel in a couple of hours from now.
On 3rd and 3. And that one is almost intercepted. Ryan Clark trying to pull it down. The Patriots will kick it away.
Yeah, Ryan Clark goes up for the interception and takes a pretty good hit from his own guy.
How'd you like playing in weather like this, Dan? Not that you had a choice in the matter.
From an offensive line perspective, the only thing you worried about was your traction. You just didn't want to slip and let a guy get a free run at the quarterback. Other than that, are you kidding me?
What about the hands? The hands
Big guy,
cold?
oh, big guys don't get cold.
My hands are cold.
Well, you're...
Santonio Holmes with the fair catch.
That might have been why you didn't play in the NFL, Greg.
Just one of a myriad of reasons. 12:08 to play in the first half. Dude, 12:08 to play in the first half.
As usual, thousands of Steeler fans find their way into an opponent's stadium.
First down, Roethlisberger. Play fake. Gonna go deep down the middle for Washington. Incomplete. Deltha O'Neal helped break it up.
Oh, Ben just couldn't throw that football far enough because Washington had 2 steps on the defender. He has to slow down and really wait for the ball, and that gave Deltha O'Neal a chance to get back in on it and get his hand on the football. Nate Washington was 2 yards behind Deltha O'Neal. Yep, you made the play at the end only because the ball was underthrown. I'm not sure Ben could have thrown it any farther in this weather.
2nd and 10. Quick pass out here and dropped by Willie Parker. While we have a moment, a reminder, Tuesday on NCIS, the brutal world of underground fight clubs exposed. An all-new NCIS Tuesday here on CBS, America's most watched network.
Greg, we're seeing some dropped passes here today that I don't think are results of wet hands or a wet football. But their lack of concentration and looking away before you look the ball into your hands. They're clunker drops, not slips.
3rd and 10. Roethlisberger running out of time and barely got the snap off. Ben throws over the middle, incomplete. Ellis Hobbs got a hand on it. 4 straight incompletions from Roethlisberger.
Well, that time Hobbs looked like the intended receiver. He's got the inside position. Santonio Holmes stops running his pattern. Ellis Hobbs kept running this slant. Santonio Holmes, for some reason, when he got the inside position was taken away by Hobbs, he just stopped running his pattern. That's sloppy football.
Wes Welker back for the punt from Mitch Berger. Welker near midfield. He eludes a couple of tacklers and goes down at the Pittsburgh 45-yard line. There's a penalty marker on the field.
Isn't Wes Welker always just one skosh away from a huge play when he's got the football under his arm?
Less than a skosh. About a half a skosh.
During the return, illegal block in the back by the receiving team number 28. That 10-yard penalty is enforced from the spot of the foul. New England keeps the ball. First down.
So Antoine Spann guilty of the penalty. That'll back the Patriots off, and we'll take the timeout. Vince Wilfork behind all of that traffic. There he is, steaming away on the sideline.
I wonder if his hands are cold. It's taken away from his enjoyment of this game, Greg.
Not mine. Here's Sammy Warren. Across the 40 to the 42-yard line. The weather having an effect, Dan, or no?
Well, no, because let's check out some of the drops we've seen here so far. Santonio Holmes just looks upfield. Randy Moss, I don't know what happened there. He was looking at it. Then, it's just, again, these aren't mishandling a slippery football. Those are balls that just were bouncing off of people. Everybody kind of getting in on the act, and both, Cassel and Roethlisberger are delivering some good passes that are getting dunked.
Here's Cassel going to the far side, and that's complete to Kevin Falk, and Falk has a first down across midfield to the Pittsburgh 47.
Well, this is a pretty good touch pass here by Matt Cassel. He's looking downfield, and you see he puts it right onto the hands of Kevin Falk, who doesn't even have to break stride, doesn't have to lean back for it. It doesn't look like that complicated of a pass. In many ways, it's extremely difficult for a quarterback to put that in the right place to allow his player to make a play.
Now on first down, Cassel On the slant, there's Randy Moss inside the 35 to the 30, and that's another Patriot first down.
Yeah, we saw Randy look that one in.
I asked you during the timeout, Dan, as to whether or not this kind of weather actually should make a player concentrate a little bit more than usual.
Well, you would think so. You'd think that you'd worry less about the yards after the catch and worry more about the catch itself. Well, this is focus right here. Randy Moss looks that ball right in. He snapped his head away, but you know, that was a pretty good job of getting it into the body and securing it. He knew he was going to take a pretty good shot. 2
catches for 44 yards for Randy Moss today. And now on first down, Cassel with time over the middle. It is almost intercepted by Polamalu.
Ooh, Troy almost turned those 5 interceptions into 6. This guy has phenomenal hands, wonderful instincts. And when he's not blitzing, he is such a danger, sitting like he is here back in the middle of the field. Now that ball was severely thrown behind David Thomas. Look how far back behind that is. If he'd have put that out in front, Thomas would have been able to make a play on that. Matt Cassel got lucky with that one.
Now 2nd and 10. And the give is to Falk. You know, you were saying, Dan, Polamalu authored one of the great interceptions that you have ever seen.
I could watch this thing every 5 minutes. This is against the San Diego Chargers. Look at him dive to get that deflection. Look at him get that right hand, the fingertips. He gets underneath it and flips it back up to himself to keep it from hitting the ground. That is one of the most spectacular INTs I have ever seen.
That's what you can do without cold hands, Dan.
Oh.
3rd and 7. Cassel with time throwing, and that is complete to Falk. Did he get enough for the first down? They say yes. Well, that's right at the 30-yard line or the 20-yard line. Let's see if they give him. They're going to measure.
That is the most generous spot I think that Kevin Falk could have received. If he was there, he wasn't there for long.
Well, and where the football is sitting right now, it may be an inch or 2 short of a first down. But we'll see when the chains come in.
They just had a malfunction with the chains on their way across from the near sideline. They've got to go all the way across the field. Looked like the marker fell off.
Can't have that. Ooh. Ed Hockley getting a good look. Wow. And it's that short.
Bill Belichick said, I'd like to take a look at that myself.
Offering his opinion.
Well, you can't say that Ed Hockley didn't get down there and scope it out.
And I'm not sure it's 4th and inches. I think it's more like 4th and an inch.
No, there's no S on the end of that. The E and the S are gone. There's no way.
New England 10 for 15 on 4th down this season. Not all of them were from an inch away. Sammy Morris and Heath Evans in the backfield. First down.
Well, give Pittsburgh credit. They had a lot of anticipation at the line of scrimmage, but the Patriots countered and they handled it. Boy, there is a defensive team. Look at Polamalu go over the top, but a good job up front. A good job up front. Casey Hampton gets penetration. He gets on the other side of the ball and gets a hand on the ball carrier, but good work, good surge by New England.
Polamalu playing the role of the gazelle. First down from the 19. Cassel, short pop over the middle to Falk, and that's close to the 15-yard line. The pickup of 4 will make it 2nd and 6.
Well, so many gifted players on this Pittsburgh defense, and of course, it's a collaborative effort. They've got wonderful talent up front. The 4 linebackers are astonishing, and then Polamalu in the back. And Josh McDaniels, you know, he had an active week trying to figure out how to scheme and game plan Dick LeBeau's group over here.
On 2nd and 6. Quick pass out to the far side. This is Welker, and Welker is dragged down by William Gay.
And there is 71-year-old Dick LeBeau, a tremendous player, recently honored by the Steelers for his 50th year of on-field service in the National Football League as either a player, an assistant, or head football coach.
Boy, do his players love to play for him.
Well, why not? You hear them talk repeatedly about sitting in their meetings at the beginning of the week when he lays out the game plan, that they just get so excited because it makes so much sense to them.
10th play of this drive. Cassel throws. Oh, under pressure. The pass is incomplete.
Troy Polamalu came through untouched. He's going to come right in off left guard. There he comes, and they just let him go, and Matt Cassel turns and doesn't realize what's coming at him from the backside.
Matt Cassel was lucky to get that off. Gostowski now in to attempt a field goal.
That was a turnover waiting to happen.
This will be a 29-yard attempt. Kick is on the way, and it is good. We have 6:48 to play in the first half. The Patriots extend their lead to 10-3. Rain continues to fall here in Foxborough. 6:48 to play in the first half. Greg Gumbel, Dan Deerdorf, and the rest of our CBS Sports crew. 10-3 New England.
I think most of the East Coast has been underwater today. The good news here in New England is that there's not much in the way of wind. It's uncomfortable, but the rain is coming straight down. If there was a pretty good 20 mile an hour wind going, this would be a whole lot different scenario today.
Is that the good news?
That is the good news.
So glad you can see the bright side.
Oh, it could always be worse.
Yes, it can. 25, breaking up the sideline and across the 35 to about the 37-yard line. Hey, I want to remind you, the playoff race rocks next Sunday with regional action. The Jaguars tangle with the Bears. Brett Favre and the Jets play the Niners, or the Patriots take on the Seahawks. We ask you to check your local listings, beginning with JB, Dan, Coach, Shannon, and Boomer on the NFL Today. And Matthew Slater is down on the field, back at about the 17-yard line. While he's tended to, we'll take a timeout with 6:41 to play in the second quarter. Only one Steeler possession has gone more than 4 plays, and that was a 62-yard drive, which ended in a field goal by Jeff Reed. Meanwhile, Matthew Slater was able to trot off the field under his own power. First down for Roethlisberger and the Steelers at their own 37. They have registered only 4 first downs today. This is Mewelde Moore trying to turn the corner. Spins out of a tackle and has enough for a first down.
Well, Mewelde Moore, a free agent this year coming from the Vikings, has been such a wonderful addition to the Steelers. He was going to be their third down back, but given the injuries to Willie Parker, who's missed 5 games, Mewelde Moore has had to do a lot of the heavy lifting. And as you can see, he's more than just a threat coming out of the backfield on third down.
Another first down now at the 47-yard line. Roethlisberger, and this is Moore out of the backfield, across midfield and into Patriot territory at the 48.
Gary Guyton again making the play. Guyton's had an active first half here so far. Rookie from Georgia Tech and a free agent. There's something you always got to like about a free agent rookie who makes a football team, especially a good football team like the Patriots.
2nd and 5. And to the 45 is Mewelde Moore once again. That'll be a 3rd and 2.
Boy, good tough yards though by Moore, who was actually hit in his own backfield, and again, just able to bounce off somebody and pick up a couple of yards. Nothing spectacular, but that could have been a negative. And here goes Big Ben without a huddle.
Play clock winding down. Roethlisberger going to throw for it. No, he gives it to Moore. Moore has the first down. And then some. Inside the 40 to about the 37, maybe the 36-yard line of New England, and a first down.
Boy, this delayed handoff really got everybody in New England thinking this is pass. That handoff takes place about 4 yards in the backfield. Moore sat and wait for Roethlisberger to come to him. Follows Big Mac Starks on his way downfield. A well-designed play right there that caught New England completely off guard.
What a thrill that must be to see Max Starks coming at you.
Yeah, he's only 6'8", 345.
First down, Pittsburgh. Play fake. And look out. Roethlisberger goes down. Ellis Hobbs hit him first. Richard Seymour followed up.
Boy, the backside corner blitz is so treacherous for a quarterback. No way can you account for it, and no way can you see it. Ben appeared to sense it at the very last minute. I don't know if he heard him coming or what, but he kind of turned at the last second, but nothing he could do about it. Great call. Great call by Dean Peace on the defensive side.
Loss of 7, 2nd and 17. And we get a whistle.
Ben was running out of time.
Timeout, New England.
And a timeout.
That's their first.
Pittsburgh uses its first timeout with 3:37 to play.
It must be hard for them to know that I'm right and be too cool to admit it, especially Sarah, who is now calling me by my first name. So those strips that she's so into, original recipe, that's the taste that I always loved. So I guess she's a lot like her mother.
I'm so not.
One great taste, 2 ways to love it. 5 pieces of original recipe chicken and 4 new original recipe boneless strips, all freshly prepared with our famous 11 herbs and spices, plus 2 sides and 4 biscuits, just $14.99.
Let me correct what I said a few moments ago. It was New England that called the timeout and used the first of their 3 to stop the clock with 3:37 to play. And a curious call, Dan.
Well, Ben Roethlisberger was running out of time and looked to me like he was turning, getting ready to call timeout, and New England apparently beat him to the punch.
2nd and 17. Richard Seymour jumped, says he was drawn off. Let's see what the officials say.
Vince Wilfork giving the procedure call. We've got a bunch of active guys from New England.
Offside, defense.
Pleading their case
free. Unavailable to the quarterback.
The call is on Seymour.
Second down.
The 5-time Pro Bowler.
There he is at the top of your screen. Nobody flinched up front. Richard Seymour could, he was pointing and talking and pleading, but apparently
that never works.
No, it doesn't.
2nd and 12.
Nobody moved for Pittsburgh. Good call.
Roethlisberger throws near side of the field, and that is pulled in by Nate Washington.
Well, Deltha O'Neal was right there with Nate Washington, and Ben puts a football up high. You can see he's looking for Washington all the way. I don't know if this ball floated on him a little bit. Nice job, though, by Nate Washington of going up and getting it.
You find it interesting, Dan, that Ben is wearing the glove on his left hand?
Well, he's old-fashioned. He wants the feel of the football. Not many quarterbacks want to wear a glove on their throwing hand. Kurt Warner is in the minority there.
3rd and 2, and the field is spread. Quick pass, and that's complete inside the 25 to Hines Ward for a first down.
I'll tell you one thing about Hines Ward. When he catches a pass, he will draw a crowd. Because let's face it, if you're a defensive player, if you get a shot on Hines Ward, you want to take it. And here they come. Let's all have a little piece of 86. And nobody knows that more than Hines Ward, and he could care less.
So now the Steelers have moved to the New England 23. First down. 2:15 to play in the first half. Noeldy Moore in the backfield behind Roethlisberger. And the flip is to Moore. Moore slips out of one tackle at the 20, falls forward to the 19. And that'll bring us to 2 minutes to play. 2 minutes to play here in New England in the first half. 10-3 Patriots. From the 19-yard line. Roethlisberger throwing for the end zone. Holmes, did he catch it inbounds? Touchdown. Holmes looked it all the way in. Roethlisberger put it on the mark. And the Steelers with a chance to tie the game.
What a move by Santonio Holmes. As he's down in the end zone, and that pump fake by Ben Roethlisberger and had put Deltha O'Neal on the ground. That was some move by Holmes, and look at the great job of dragging the foot. He was inbounds by a mile, but the move, the pump fake, perfection.
The New England Patriots have now allowed points on 32 straight red zone trips, including a field goal and a touchdown today. And Holmes with a 19-yard TD catch.
Simultaneously, the break by Holmes, the pump fake by Ben Roethlisberger, and Deltha O'Neal was in a real chase position. Yes, every now and then it works out exactly the way you do it in practice. And I think that was the case there.
Hey, here's our chance to remind you Saturday, the number 2 Florida Gators, the top-ranked Alabama Crimson Tide, the SEC Championship, a game that could decide it all. That's Saturday here on CBS Sports. Alabama number 1, Florida number 2.
Boy, what a game that is. And there's the AP top 10, those two sitting up there.
Of course, we're involved in a game, Dan, where championships are decided on the field.
Well, the BCS, no question, it generates a little controversy, and
no,
we got a ways to go. How about USC, that thumping they put on Notre Dame? Notre Dame didn't get a first down until the last play of the third quarter.
25 and forward to the 27-yard line. Anthony Smith made the hit, and here comes Matt Cassel, who has 2 timeouts and 1:50 on the clock. You know, we mentioned the guys coming up in the studio. That NFL Today took on a little bit of a different look earlier. They had some different people on the set earlier today.
They had, you know, I always thought that those were a bunch of guys sitting there.
Not always, apparently.
I could have sworn I saw a very attractive woman on the set today. That was very close to Shannon Sharp, too.
Very close. Will sidearm out to Wes Welker, and Welker out across the 30 to about the 33. Clock continues to move, 1:40 to play.
And I think that the evolution of Matt Cassel is such that the Patriots are going to try to get points. You know, 6-8 weeks ago, maybe you just try to go to the locker room and don't make a mistake.
The give is to Kevin Falk here, and Kevin Falk across the 40, 45, midfield to the 30, and out of bounds close to the 25-yard line.
And folks, that's why every now and then in a situation like that, you hand the ball off, because the other team is so overplaying the pass and their defenders are running off in man coverage. They don't realize what's happening, and what a move he puts on Ryan Clark. Kevin Falk, who has never been confused for Barry Sanders, smokes Clark.
Cassel throws the ball into the turf because the screen wasn't there, and here's a penalty flag.
Well, it's a flag that's downfield.
And now
Left guard Logan Gillette. From 2nd and 7. Sammy Moore's running room. 15, 10, inside the 10. It'll be 1st and goal.
Boy, and Pittsburgh is getting gashed here on the little delay. First by Falk and now by Sammy Morris. Look at the hole. Take a look at that. That is a good 5 yards wide. And Troy Polamalu can't believe that he's that far back in coverage, and here comes a back steamroll in his direction. Keep in mind, this is the #1 defense in the NFL in virtually every category. And New England today has already in the first half exceeded the game average of what the Pittsburgh Steelers give up running the football.
For 55 yards in the last 2 carries. And New England has stopped the clock with their 2nd timeout. 35 seconds showing. And the line of scrimmage is just inside the 10-yard line. So the Patriots with 1 timeout remaining. Falk in the backfield.
You know, Cassel's going to see if he can get Moss with man coverage.
Cassel going, end zone, incomplete. Randy Moss with Ike Taylor covering. It'll be 2nd and goal.
And Ike Taylor was playing Moss, not the football. That's what you want, is man coverage. Now, there was some safety help to the inside, but Ike Taylor didn't know where the football was. Yeah, Matt Cassel realizes that he didn't give Randy Moss a chance to make a play on that ball.
2nd and goal. Cassel stepping up, same spot, touchdown. No, he dropped it.
Man, James Ferrier, the linebacker, is coming in at the last minute. All right, Ike Taylor is not in man coverage, zone all the way. Here comes Ferrier. And for the 2nd time this half, Randy Moss just drops a pass that was right on his hands.
You saw Mike Tomlin pleading for a holding call that didn't come. 3rd and goal. New England 0 for 5 on 3rd downs today. Cassel rolling, throwing. It is almost intercepted in the end zone. Taylor had it go through his hands.
Man, this has been a half of dropped footballs. Ike Taylor again matched up with Randy Moss as if we've seen most of the day.
And this time Ike Taylor had it all the way.
Again, I just don't have an explanation as to why this is happening. Yeah, I know it's raining, but those don't appear to be because of slippery hands or a ball.
Gostowski missed it. Missed it to the right side. He had made 26 in a row inside the 40-yard line. And he misses the chance to put New England on top with 17 seconds to play in the half.
Well, that was some combination of events. Stephen Gostkowski, I don't know if he's playing for this to hook, but he hits it pretty darn straight, just wide right from the very beginning. And how frustrating is this for the Patriots after Kevin Falk and a big run, Sammy Morris with a big run. They have a chance. Randy Moss drops a sure touchdown. Pittsburgh has a chance with an interception, and as it turns out, it works great for them because of the missed field goal.
For those of you big on numbers, New England has a 39-game winning streak when they lead at the half. That will not be the case today as the teams leave the field and the final seconds tick off. Sammy Morris, a 2-yard touchdown run. Santonio Holmes, a 19-yard touchdown catch. Field goals on each side and a 10-10 game.
Well, that this game is even, Greg, not a surprise. These are two AFC heavyweights.
That is the end of the first half with our score. Pittsburgh 10, New England 10. We're coming back with a Sprint halftime report in New York right after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. The weather, in a word, ugly. I do like playing in weather like this, man. Not that you had a choice in the matter, but what about the hands?
Big guys don't get cold.
Welcome back to Foxborough, Massachusetts, Gillette Stadium. As we begin the second half, New England and Pittsburgh tied at 10. Greg Gumbel once again along with Dan Deerdorf. You know, I don't think that the weather has been as big a factor as we thought it might be, although the way things have gone, it still could make a big turning point in this game somewhere along the line.
Hey, obviously the ball is a little slippery. It's just most of the drop passes we have seen don't strike me as ones where the ball is just like squirting through someone's hands. I would expect to see a second half that's played a little crisper, a little sharper. Let's go ahead and check the halftime numbers here, and you can see that one takeaway led to the fact that the Patriots only had to go 14 yards for a touchdown after Mike Vrabel had the interception on Pittsburgh's first series. And there's nothing that'll make an offense happier than having to only go 14 yards for a touchdown.
The New England Patriots will get the second half kickoff. And a reminder once again, this game comes to you in high definition here on CBS. 10-10, New England and Pittsburgh. Ellis Hobbs, number 27, is deep to receive the kick from Jeff Reed. It has been a steady, cold rain from the time we woke up today, Dan.
Yes, it has. Temperatures in the 30s. The good news is, remember, this used to be a grass field here at Gillette Stadium, and not a very good one at that. And since they've put the artificial surface in here, you can play a game in bad weather like this and not have footing really be an issue.
Thought sure you were going to say the good news is the temperature's not in the low 30s.
No, yeah, well, you've been here for a few snowy games, haven't you? We all have. It is that time of year.
The coaches, Bill Belichick, Mike Tomlin, and Jeff Reed, who has a 20-yard field goal to his credit. Will kick it away and get us started here in the second half. This is Hobbs from the 7. Takes a couple of hits, refuses to go down until he gets back close to the 25-yard line.
Well, let's check out the first half leaders of the New England Patriots. Of course, Matt Cassel, 11 of 21. He's had a couple drops, but he has not had a turnover. Kevin Falk with the big run he had there at the very end of the first half, most of those yards. And Randy Moss, while he has a couple of catches for 44 yards, he's also had a couple of very prominent drops, one of them in the end zone for could have been a touchdown.
Cassel to throw down the far sideline. It is incomplete, and a penalty marker is down.
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt about that. Ike Taylor was holding him up the whole way. Geez, the last 10 yards of that pattern.
Pass interference defense, number 24. The ball is placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
I sure thought it was late being thrown, though, Dan.
Well, it might have been late being thrown, but okay, you're past 5 yards. You just can't hold. I don't know why Ike Taylor thought that he could hold on to the left arm of Randy Moss that whole time. The interference happened 5-6 yards prior to that. Now, Ike Taylor is a big corner at 6'2", 195. He wants to be physical with Moss, but there's a line.
That's a 23-yard pickup, and now Sammy Morris into New England territory to the 47-yard line. Aaron Smith made the stop after a 7-yard gain. It's 2nd and 3.
You know, Greg, we had such an interesting conversation with Ike Taylor about what it's like covering Randy Moss. And, you know, Randy is so physical, and he uses his hands so well. And you'll see him, he'll, you know, the little subtle pushes, they're not exaggerated, which is why he does get away with a lot. But that was pretty obvious by Taylor.
Ike Taylor couldn't stop raving about Randy Moss's ball skills. Sammy Morris, another marker.
Holding defense, number 98. 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
That's Casey Hampton, who is not too pleased.
Well, a lot of times you see holding is called on a linebacker or a corner because they're in some way holding a receiver, but a defensive lineman can get it too. If an offensive lineman is on his way to make a block, you can't grab him. And right there, he's holding on to Dan Copen. You know, okay, your job is to occupy two guys. And Hampton, I think, would have got away with it if he wouldn't have been so exaggerated at the end in the way he held on to Copen.
He may still be holding it.
Yeah. If he'd have let him go, I think he'd have gotten away with it.
At some point.
Yeah.
Castle throwing. And that's complete. Out of the backfield is Kevin Falk. And he's to the 32, maybe the 31.
You know, for those of you that at home trying to figure out what Casey Hampton was doing, he's trying to keep Dan Copen, the center, from coming off and going to that second level and getting a block on a linebacker. Well, once he did that for 2 or 3 seconds, well, then you can let him go because you don't want to do just that, run the risk of getting the flag. If you love interior line play between Hampton and Wilfork, we got 2 of the game's best on display here today.
Casey's still talking about it on 2nd and 1. Cassel pulls it down and then he goes down. And Casey Hampton came right through for the sack.
Well, Casey Hampton is not known as a really good pass rusher, and he's just going one-on-one on Dan Copen, and by the time Stephen Neal, the right guard, wants to come back in, Hampton's already too far upfield. And that's Hampton's first sack of the season. He's a run stuffer. He's not a real pressure guy on the QB. That's a bonus for the Steelers.
Now Cassel throwing, incomplete, intended for Falk. And that'll bring the punting unit on for New England.
A little confusion there between Kevin Falk and Matt Cassel as to the option route that Falk was supposed to run.
So Mewelde Moore will drop back to take the kick for Pittsburgh. And let's see what Chris Hansen does with this punt.
Well, he can't just boom it because he's way too close to the end zone for that.
Pops it up. Fair catch called for. And Moore dropped it. Did it get out of bounds?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, luckily for Mewelde Moore, he was really close to the sidelines.
Pittsburgh ball. 12:32 to play. Third quarter. 10-10 tie in the rain in Foxborough. That's Willie Parker on the sidelines. Has not seen much action since the first quarter. Mewelde Moore in the backfield as Roethlisberger brings the Steelers up at their own 14. And this is Moore. Finds running room. 20, 25, 30. Still on his feet to about the 33-yard line and a first down.
Man, what a good-looking hole off the right side. Oh, this is really well done. Great block by Willie Colon, number 74, the right tackle. Heath Miller, 83, the tight end. And that was a no-brainer for Mewelde Moore, who wasn't touched until he was at least 10 yards downfield.
Mewelde Moore, 7 carries, 48 yards on the day.
Pittsburgh's running that cluster formation there. They've been running that all game long.
Roethlisberger throwing. Heath Miller across the 40, across the 45, and another first down for the Steelers.
Well, the first half leaders for the Steelers. Ben Roethlisberger, of course, he's got a touchdown, but he also had the interception that led directly to a New England touchdown on the first series of the game. With Parker being ineffective, Mewelde Moore is the primary guy out of the backfield. He's had the big run here at the start of the second half. And then Nate Washington has been the primary receiver with 3.
2 plays, 31 yards on this drive, and here's Moore left side. Bounces off the tackler across midfield into New England territory at about the 47.
Well, there's 2 stories here. One is that Mewelde Moore is running the ball really well, but this is clearly the situation where if Willie Parker was at the top of his game, this is when he should be in there. And it appears that Mike Tomlin has made a decision that Willie Parker's knee just isn't up to what it should be, and it's curtailing his effectiveness.
On 2nd and 2, Roethlisberger from the shotgun. Quick pass this side. And that's Nate Washington.
Nate, this is in college football.
It's incomplete.
Well, that's why he didn't get up. He knew he didn't catch it. You're setting up a little bubble screen out here. You got two blockers coming out in front. You see you got both your tight ends. Oh, well, no wonder he didn't get up. That one hopped well in front of Nate Washington.
So now third and a long 2.
Again, there's that cluster formation to the right side.
Roethlisberger rolling, throws, and that is complete and out of bounds to Santonio Holmes. First down.
Well, Santonio Holmes was wide open as he settles down over here against the New England zone, turned all loose over there, and I'm trying to think why he just stepped out of bounds. There's nobody close to him. James Sanders is still a couple yards away. You're a very dangerous runner after the catch. Try to make something happen, Mr. Holmes.
First down just inside the 40-yard line. Here's Moore. Not much there. Gary Guyton coming up and making another stop.
Well, again, we talked about Mewelde Moore, and man, he has been a real savior here for the Pittsburgh Steelers at the running back position. They had to re-sign Najee Davenport this week. After, of course, they lost their #1 draft pick, Rashard Mendenhall, who broke his scapula in the Baltimore game back in week 4. He was really going to be the guy that did a lot of the heavy work to relieve Willie Parker. But that fell on Moore's shoulders, and he's come through big time.
2nd and 9. Roethlisberger running out of time on the play clock. Got it off. Moore. Well, penalty marker is down on the near side. And Moore powers inside the 30, close to the 25-yard line. Let's see what the flag is about.
Well, whatever the flag is, it's not for delay of game. It was thrown by the line judge on the sideline.
Offside, defense number 50.
That's
the penalty
Vrabel.
is declined. The play results in a first down.
Well, Ben got that play off at the last nanosecond. And Mike Vrabel, who's had a really active first half. There's Mike Vrabel at the top of your screen, and yeah, you can see him take that half step trying to get the inside on Max Starks, but he was well into the neutral zone. But Vrabel, a big first half. He had one tipped pass and an interception.
And Willie Parker is back on the field, and he is in the backfield, and he takes the handoff, looking for running room up the middle to about the 20. You specifically asked Mike Tomlin, Dan, about, Tomlin said he was going to work out Willie Parker and make a determination as to whether or not he could go. And he made it clear that if he didn't think Parker was at top speed, he wouldn't go at all.
No, and this is really good news for Pittsburgh that they've put Parker back in there. So obviously he's not tweaked it, or if he has, it's not enough to reduce his effectiveness to the point where he shouldn't play.
That was Parker's first carry since the first quarter.
For the stretch run here, the Steelers desperately need a very healthy Willie Parker.
This is Parker on 2nd and 4, turning the corner left side, and slipped and fell at about the 17.
Now keep in mind, it's his left knee, and there's a situation where instead of plant that left knee and make a hard cut, he kind of goes to the ground. Let's see what he does with that left knee, throwing it out there. And he actually kind of overextended himself with his right leg throwing it out there, but I don't know. It looked like a guy that wasn't all that thrilled about really planting that thing and going right over the top of it.
3rd and 1, and Moore is back into the backfield. Roethlisberger, quick pass, Heath Miller, first down. Inside the 10, it'll be 1st and goal for Pittsburgh.
I'm telling you, the Jackie Smiths, Mike Ditka's, the great tight ends of a bygone era used to make a living off of that little pass right there. It's one of the simplest plays in football, and it's almost always good for some decent yardage.
Good hands by Miller here. Almost lost the handle.
He almost lost it. John Mackeys of the world, man, they used to make a living off that little deal right there. Bruce Arians, the offensive coordinator, likes to work from down on the field.
And Roethlisberger calls timeout with the play clock already down to 6. We'll stop the clock with 6:41 to play in the third. Welcome back, 6:41 to play. The New England defense has had red zone problems, including today. They've allowed scores on 32 straight possessions in the red zone. Meanwhile, the Steelers are on the night's longest drive. 11th play, 77 yards. It's taken 5:51 off the clock.
Now this is about as long a first and goal as you can possibly have. They are barely inside the 10.
Roethlisberger fakes the pass, gives to Moore up the middle, and he's stacked up at about the 7.
You know, it's one of those things that becomes a real albatross on a defensive team when you struggle like that in the red zone. And, you know, this is a team that's always oozed with confidence. And, you know, you just say the 2 words red zone, and you can just see every defensive guy for the Patriots stiffen. It is a subject of which they are tired of talking about it. The problem is you have to do something about it.
2nd and goal. Roethlisberger with time, running out of time, scrambling, throws it away.
Well, Ben Roethlisberger, since the day he came in this league, buys himself more time. He is able to just move around because he just can't find anybody. Good job there of Ellis Hobbs all over Hines Ward. Looking at this side of the field, there goes Miller. Heath Miller can't find anybody. Spaeth can't find anybody. Now Santonio Holmes looked like he was open in the back corner for a moment, but at that time Ben was running around trying to stay alive.
3rd and goal for Pittsburgh. Play clock down to 1. Got the snap off. Roethlisberger running out of time, on the move. Still on his feet, looking, throwing, incomplete. Penalty marker down inside the 5-yard line.
Well, he started to look like Fran Tarkenton there. How many people could Ben Roethlisberger make him miss?
The initial signal is an ineligible man.
Ineligible receiver, downfield offense, number 68. The penalty is declined. Brings up 4th down.
Well, I'm sure that Chris Kimoyatu thought what I thought at the last minute there, and that was that Ben Roethlisberger was going to make a run for the goal line. Because when he came around the corner, he had some real estate in front of him, and I think he could have come awfully close to the goal line. Now, for a guy with a bad shoulder, maybe that's not what you want him doing.
Jeff Reed's numbers. 24 in a row from inside the 50. This one's a 25-yarder to give Pittsburgh the lead. On its way and good. 5 minutes, 39 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter. And Mike Tomlin watches his Steelers take a 13-10 lead. Jeff Reed, who just kicked a 25-yard field goal to cap a 14-play, 79-yard drive and give the Steelers their first lead of the night at 13-10, will kick it away. That's Matthew Slater at his own 5-yard line. And Slater from the 4 lost the handle, bounced it away. It's loose. Who's got it? The Steelers recover. Kieran Fox.
And Matthew Slater, who got banged up earlier in the game, when I saw him back on that kickoff, I'm going, man, good for you, kid. You're not injured seriously. You're back in the game, and wow, what a mistake. Never had it, could have had it, and then unfortunately it bounces right off his left knee and caroms away. And what a nice job of covering up the ball by Fox.
In this same area of the field in the first quarter, a key turnover Cost the Steelers some points. Let's see now if they can turn this into points. First and goal from the 8. The pitch for Moore, left side, and is batted out of bounds by Brandon Merriweather.
Man, did you hear that hit? Check this out. This is a cruncher here. That's the sound that a helmet on helmet makes.
Backs them all the way up to the 11-yard line where it's second and goal. There is Matthew Slater, hoping his defense can put the clamps on the Steelers. Roethlisberger throws at the goal line. Touchdown! Hines Ward.
How come year in, year out, when your team needs a big play, number 86 steps up and makes it happen? What a good job he did of shielding the defender, and Ben throws a strike right at his chest. Hines Ward, not a really big receiver, does a really great job. Look at that. Look how he squats down, turns his back completely to the defender, and Deltha O'Neal is in no position to make a play on the ball. And all Matthew Slater can do now is try to block the extra point.
He does not. The kick is good. The Steelers put 10 points on the board in 35 seconds and lead it by 10. New England's defense, points allowed off turnovers. Since the Patriots led 10-3 in the second quarter, Pittsburgh has scored 17 unanswered to lead 20-10. 5:04 to play in the third. Matthew Slater has moved up in the kick return unit, and Kevin Falk is deep inside his own 5-yard line. There is Matthew Slater, number 18.
Well, both of these teams got the opportunity to do 2 really short drives for touchdowns, so they've evened it up in every regard.
Falk from the 5 to the 25 and out to about the 28 or 29-yard line while we have a moment. Wednesday here on CBS. Be the first to know who the nominees are when Taylor Swift and LL Cool J host the Grammy nomination concert live Wednesday here on CBS, America's most watched network. Special live guitar solo by Dan Deardorff.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, with these fingers. Good luck hitting just one string at a time. Not possible.
First down for Cassel and the Patriots at the 29. Cassel lost the ball. It's on the ground. Who's got it? Pittsburgh.
James Harrison with the sack and the strip. Harrison and Woodley have been quiet all game long, right up to that point. Coming in the backside, Matt Cassel did not see it coming. There's Harrison, number 92, gets around Matt Light. Light tries to hold him. Matt Cassel doesn't see him coming, and Lamar Woodley recovers the fumble. They had a play earlier in the year against Baltimore where Harrison stripped the ball and Woodley picked it up and ran it in for a touchdown. They're quite a pair.
Yesterday, Lamar Woodley told us he tells James Harrison every week this is his week to catch him in the sack department. Recovered a big fumble there. Roethlisberger with time over the middle. Caught inside the 10 by Heath Miller. It'll be first and goal.
And what a job of holding on to the football, because Miller takes a huge, huge shot. Pierre Woods really dropped one on him, and Woods is the guy that's hurt. Watch this collision. Look at the spray come off of both of those guys. Heath Miller holds on to the football, bounces right up, and Pierre Woods is still on one knee.
And we saw Hines Ward waving to the New England bench, asking for help for Pierre Woods.
Pierre Woods, interestingly enough, a college teammate of Lamar Woodley, who just recovered that fumble caused by James Harrison. They both were teammates at Michigan. And Pierre Woods is being forced into action for the Patriots because of the injury to Adalys Thomas. He's got a broken forearm, and Pierre Woods is having to play his spot there at outside linebacker.
You know, everyone has their injury problems this time of year, and the Patriots have had their share and then some. But Woods going to walk off the field under his own power.
Yeah, good for him. That was some helmet-to-helmet shot those two exchanged. I think the average fan is amazed when a guy like Heath Miller is able to hold on to the football after getting hit that hard.
First and goal from the 7. That's a 20-yard pickup. Pittsburgh has scored on its last 3 drives, 2 touchdowns and a field goal. Willie Parker straight ahead inside the 5 to about the 2.
Boy, and every time that Willie Parker is able to make a tough run like that, nothing fancy but a real grinder, they've got to feel a little bit better about his chances of being productive in December. But that was good blocking up front from an offensive line that is completely revamped. The only starter playing right now from a year ago is Willie Colon at right tackle.
Second and goal. Parker straight ahead and not much there. It has been a steady drizzle from the time we arrived at the stadium here today.
And 2 things jump out at you. How many Steelers fans want to infiltrate another team's stadium? And secondly, how these folks in New England, there's not an empty seat in this place.
Third and goal. Roethlisberger going to throw for it. Running out of time, throws incomplete. Hines Ward coming across the end zone. And here comes Jeff Reed in the field goal unit.
Man, and that's the best thing that New England could have possibly hoped for, barring a turnover or something like that unexpected. But when you're down on the door like that to force a field goal, that's a win defensively. Teddy Bruschi knows it, and these guys, I think they're a little shell-shocked that they're facing the chance of going down by 13 points. But it could have been worse.
For Reed, this will be a 20-yard attempt. Kick is on the way and good. 20 unanswered points. Pittsburgh leads 23-10. Hey, this week, Dave has President-elect Barack Obama plus Bruce Willis and Paris Hilton. Talk about running the gray matter spectrum from one end to the other. Tomorrow, catch Stupid Human Tricks and Russell Brand, only here on CBS.
That is a little something for everybody.
Zoom! 35, 45, penalty marker flies as he brought down just shy of midfield. Good job by Ellis Hobbs, and let's check the flag.
Jeff Reed is making a lot of gyrations out there, saying that he's the guy that got held.
During the return, holding by the receiving team number 88. That 10-yard penalty will be enforced from the spot of the foul. New England keeps the ball, first down.
Of all the people that you need to hold on the kicking team, wouldn't the kicker be the last one to hold?
Although Jeff Reed's he weighs 225 pounds.
Yes, he does.
He will throw himself around. But no, normally he's not the headhunter of the coverage team.
So the line of scrimmage, the 35 of New England. New England just 5 total yards this third quarter. And the give is to Sammy Morris. Morris to about the 38. Let's get an update from James Brown in New York. JB.
Hey, Greg and Dan, after muffing a punt earlier, Harry Douglas makes amends here on the receiving end of this Matt Ryan toss. That capped an 11-play, 72-yard drive, 22-13. Fourth quarter, 11:43 remaining in regulation. Greg and Dan.
Boy, the clock is ticking on those San Diego Chargers. 2nd and 7. Cassel throwing far side. Welker making the dive incomplete.
Oh, that ball from Matt Cassel just seemed to die. Wes Welker was wide open. He found a hole back there in the Pittsburgh zone. Take a look at how open he is, and that football just noses into the ground, and Welker not able to get back to it.
You know, let's make the point. Matt Cassel has done a terrific job subbing for Tom Brady this year, but as Mike Tomlin pointed out, there are people who are a little quick to anoint him. That you really can't put him in Tom Brady's class until he's played some January, February football.
Well, you don't put anybody in Tom Brady's class.
3rd and 7, over the middle. Polamalu got a hand on it.
And Ryan Clark laid out Wes Welker when the football was blocked in between. Now Clark's going to say, no, wait a minute. I thought the ball was coming. What a shot. Let's see how well we can hear this. Is this helmet to helmet?
Oof. Although the pass
he comes
was
in
tipped,
with the shoulder.
Defense number 25, unnecessary roughness. An unnecessary hit on a defenseless receiver.
That was
15
definitely
yards
a launch.
from the previous spot. First down.
He left his feet.
He looked like he hit him more with the shoulder than the helmet, but he did realize that that football was nowhere near Wes Welker. And that was some shot by Ryan Clark. You know, this was a 34-13 win last year by New England in this game, and neither Ryan Clark nor Troy Polamalu played in that game because of injury. You know, there's a little anticipation at getting a shot at this thing.
That's the kind of hit that'll get you an email from the commissioner. That pass is complete to Randy Moss.
Not an email, that'll get you a FedEx.
A little pushing and shoving on the field. Let's get another update from James Brown. JB?
Hey, Greg and Dan, take a look. Denver on the march here in the red zone. Jay Cutler back, looking for his intended receiver as he scrambles and buys a little time, tosses it, and it is picked off by the Jets to White Lowry to end the drive right there. 27-14 still, late in the third. Denver on top. Greg and Dan.
Well, plenty of time there for a little Brett Favre magic. He's got the whole fourth quarter.
A little bit of interest in what the Jets are doing from the locals here. Meanwhile, Cassel, the fall, going nowhere. Brought down at about the 47-48 yard line. Clock continues to run as we come down on a minute to play here in the third quarter. Troy Polamalu on the left, Matt Cassel on the right, and former roommates.
And Matt Cassel said he was a wonderful roommate. He was so clean. As we all know, what's worse than having a dirty roommate who leaves his stuff all over the place? Great friends to this day from Southern Cal. Dear friends.
Cassel under the gun, lost the ball again.
Harrison, unbelievable. James Harrison does it again, comes around the corner, and Matt Cassel doesn't feel him, and he gets another strip sack.
And this time, James Ferrier picked up the loose ball.
Man, all you got to be doing is be on the other side. He goes around Matt Light again, who doesn't seem to have an answer. Matt Light has got to strike Harrison and get him upfield. How smart of a play is that by Harrison? That almost looks too easy. Just go by and there's the ball. Swat, I'll just knock it out and let one of my guys pick it up.
That is the fourth sack of the day for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And James Harrison, who came in with a dozen sacks, now has 14.
Two lost fumbles by Cassel and one by Matthew Slater on the kick. First down as we approach the last half minute of play here in the third quarter. This is Willie Parker. No running room on the near side as he's brought down just shy of the 45. And let's see if that's the last play here in the third quarter. Third quarter has been owned by the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, that's pretty astonishing that in the third quarter they've only given up a total of 9 points all season.
We've come to the end of 3. The score, the Steelers 23, the Patriots 10. We're back after this message and a word from your local station. This is the NFL on CBS. Welcome back for the start of the fourth quarter. 13 unanswered points by Pittsburgh in the third quarter. 23-10, Steelers in the lead.
Hard to have a better third quarter than James Harrison had.
Roethlisberger looking now at a 2nd and 9 at the New England 46. Roethlisberger with time incomplete. You could tell the momentum swing really began late in the first half, Dan.
Yeah, it really did. They had a chance to score, and Randy Moss can't hold on to a ball in the end zone. Matthew Slater then on a kickoff, he loses it. Pittsburgh recovers. Roethlisberger finds Hines Ward for the touchdown to cap it off. And then James Harrison with back-to-back strip sacks. And right now, Pittsburgh just exploded all over New England in the third quarter. And again, we showed you that number. The Steelers have only given up 9 points in the third quarter so far this season.
Got the snap off just in time. Roethlisberger pulls it down, throws, and that is complete at the 35-yard line to Hines Ward.
Well, if Hines Ward actually did catch that ball, he did one heck of a job of scooping that up off the ground or keeping it from hitting the ground. Let's check it out right here. Hines Ward breaking off his pattern after, and boy, he just slides right on in there. Nate Washington going deep. That is going down and getting it.
2 total yards for New England in the third quarter. On first down, this is Willie Parker. Changes direction, diving forward close to the 30-yard line.
And right now, you know, Bill Cowher is sitting back in our studios in New York because nobody was better when he was coaching the Steelers at taking the air out of the football and milking a lead and just grinding away, running the football.
Trying to remember, was the coach the only one to pick the Steelers in this game earlier today?
I'm not sure if he was the only one. No, I think somebody else did too. There might have been another one.
Was it female?
He clearly was all over it. I know.
2nd and 5. Parker in the backfield. Parker with the handoff. And out of bounds, and enough for the first down.
There are the AFC East standings right now. The Jets, keep in mind, are losing right now to Denver at that game at the Middlelands. Miami won. Buffalo lost. And so New England, they're looking at a loss if they don't have one heck of a fourth quarter here.
And again, we talked about how very important this game is to the Patriots. Roethlisberger looking for the first down and has it.
Well, the Patriots, it's so important for them, Greg, because they've already lost twice in their division. They've lost to Miami, they've lost to the Jets, and their 4 losses are all in the AFC. Both of those come into play in different tie-breaking scenarios, and Bill Belichick is well aware of the fact that if the Jets were to go on and win the division, a wild card spot is what they're chasing, and those kind of records within your division and conference can come back to really hurt.
We are told Pierre Wood will not return to action today after the hit he took. Here's Parker. Parker dances to the 27, or the 22, excuse me. Meanwhile, the Pittsburgh Steelers trying to keep pace with Baltimore in the AFC North. Ravens won to move to 8-4, and Pittsburgh trying to win to stay ahead of the Ravens. And they would move to 9-3.
And Pittsburgh plays Baltimore in a couple of weeks in Baltimore. course, that's after they go home and play Dallas.
Well, yeah, there's a matter of that remaining schedule for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, it's more than a little difficult. It's a man-sized bite.
New England, tough to play catch-up when you don't have your hands on the ball. Roethlisberger threw it away. Nothing developing on the right side, so he just stuffed it. It'll be 3rd and 8.
Well, there's still a lot of time left in this football game. 2 New England touchdowns gives them the lead, but their margin of error is getting mighty close to the bone, and not allowing Pittsburgh any more points is crucial. Now they're at a distance now where a field goal from here is, I think, a little dicey in this weather.
3rd and 8. Roethlisberger needs the 15 for a first down. Gonna loft this one downfield. He has his man open off the fingertips of Nate Washington. Can't throw it any better.
Well, we have seen this all game long, where we've seen receivers in a position to make a big play. That ball, you see, that just bounces off his fingertips. When I look at that, I don't think that's a case of the rain or the wet hands or anything. That never even made it to his palms. That just bounced off the ends of his fingers.
So Jeff Reed going to try one from 40 yards out. He's been good from 20 twice and from 25 once. Kick is on the way, and he pulled it left.
Well, New England, they did the first part of what they have to do. Now, can the offense follow suit? Would it be wrong of me to tell you how much I really like that show?
Not at all. I would be shocked if you didn't. And a little bit offended.
I would. That's when his little nose glows like that, I just can't hardly take it.
Get all the glitter my own self. First down. Here's Kevin Falk. Fights his way to about the 35. A pickup of 5 in this half. New England has managed 7 total yards and 3 turnovers.
And trying to change it up a little bit. They're going no huddle, which I think is a good idea. Try to do something to shake it up a little bit.
2nd and 5. That pass is complete across the 45 to the 48 or 47-yard line. Ben Watson on the receiving end, and that's a New England first down. Something of a rarity here in the second half.
Lawrence Timmons really complaining that Watson pushed off.
It is still drizzling here at Gillette. Falk. Midfield. Still on his feet. To the 40 and a first down.
Well, this is exactly what New England has to do. Plenty of time left here. Over 10 minutes. This really worked for them at the end of the first half. Of course, it ended up a drive that didn't produce any points, but a big run by Falk, a big run on Sammy Morris off the same action. The little delay that caught Pittsburgh kind of unawares.
Cassel under the gun, throws incomplete, and he got creamed by Lawrence Timmons.
Ooh, and you can see Matt Cassel grimacing as he got up. That hurt. That hurt. Kevin Falk releasing to get out into the pattern, and Cassel gets driven to the ground. Now, Timmons did a good job of not landing on top of him, and that's something that'll draw a penalty, driving a guy into the ground. I thought Timmons did a good job of sliding off to the side and hitting the ground himself.
On 2nd and 10, pass out to Randy Moss. Moss looking for running room and is going to lose some yardage on this play. Chris Hoke, number 76. Saw Moss come right back to him.
Well, there are some defenses that it's tougher than others to come back across the formation to try to catch them off guard, but not with the team speed the Steelers have. Randy Moss couldn't even get away from a defensive lineman.
New England has not converted a 3rd down today. Cassel stepping up down the middle of the field. Intercepted by Polamalu. Polamalu back to the 20. 25 and out of bounds. Troy Polamalu picks off his old roomie and the ball goes over to the Steelers.
Well, Matt Cassel trying to get the ball to Ben Watson, and it looked like it went right off the hands of Watson. Ed Hockley trying to get everybody back onto the Steelers sideline. Let's watch this. It's going to be a post pattern right down the middle. And he actually puts it right on the left hand of Ben Watson. He can't pull it in. He pops it right to Polamalu.
Fourth turnover of the day by the New England Patriots is the most they've committed this season. On first down, here's Willie Parker. And Parker inside the 40, or across the 40 rather, to the 41. And the rain continues to fall here in Foxborough.
Well, it has gone from light to dark, but the rainfall has been pretty consistent the entire game. And the 4 turnovers, wow, what an obstacle to try to overcome against a really good Pittsburgh football team.
The best defense in the National Football League.
Asking a lot. Statistically, all the way down the board, they're nothing but ones.
On 2nd and 3. Parker again. And Parker with a first down and then some. 40, 30, inside the 30, brought down by James Sanders, but not before he chalks up another Steeler first down.
Well, this is Steeler football. This is the formula that they have been following all the way back to Chuck Noll. Strong defense, intimidating defense, a punishing ground game, and when they get the lead, they just suck the air out of the football. And Bill Belichick cannot be enjoying this experience.
Nor is Matt Cassel. 7:50 to play in regulation. Parker again.
A running play.
And Parker scoots to the 20-yard line, and here's a late flag coming from Ed Hockley.
Holding, offense number 62, 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
And that's the center, Justin Hartwig. Guy we were talking to last night, Dan, he says, you know, if you play the center position, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania is the ultimate place to play the game.
Yeah, has great respect for those that preceded him in that position. The great Mike Webster, Dermontti Dawson. He knows the caliber of the players that have come before. Of course, the late Mike Webster, and wow, did he, in many ways, really redefine that position. Between he and Jim Langer of the Dolphins, they were a couple of horses.
On first down, Parker brought down at the 30-yard line. Gary Guyton made the stop. And of course, Justin Hartwig added and wanted us to make sure to point out that he said the Steeler fans are the best.
Well, Justin Hartwig had his 30th birthday last weekend in Chicago. The Steelers had a little weekend trip to the Windy City. The offensive line went with Ben Roethlisberger.
Some of them.
Yeah. All the starters went, along with number 7. Had to be some trip.
On 2nd and 13, Roethlisberger rolling. Throws over the middle, and that's complete to Matt Spaeth, the tight end. Those of you expecting to see 60 minutes, you're watching the NFL on CBS, and our game between Pittsburgh and New England. Greg Gumbel, Dan Deerdorf, and the rest of our CBS Sports crew. Pittsburgh leading at 23-10. We remind you 60 Minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately following this game, except on the West Coast.
And they have an awesome interview with Michael Phelps, catching up with what he's been doing since he won every gold medal that they had in Beijing.
More swimming?
He's had an active couple of months.
3rd and 9. Roethlisberger pumps, throws down the middle, incomplete. Underthrew Hines Ward.
That slipped off of Ben's hands. That was a wobbler from the beginning. They're both laughing about it. Hines Ward realized what happened. Hey, it happens. You know, in weather like this, Ben does not wear a glove, which I think the vast majority of quarterbacks prefer to have the feel on the ball, but every now and then one of them is going to slip.
I'd wear gloves.
Of course you would. You'd wear battery socks too. You'd look like the Michelin Man.
Anytime that temperature dips below 60. 45 yards out, Jeff Reed. This one on its way, looking good, and it is good.
That's a killer.
5:43 to play in regulation. 26-10 Steelers. As far as staying warm, that's what I'm talking about. 5:43 to play here in regulation.
Well, that's the business end of the heater. You see on the other end, there's about 9 Steelers.
The payoff end.
Yeah, trying to get in the way of all that hot air.
26-10, Roethlisberger and the Steelers with the lead. Short kick. From the 30, it's Slater who fumbled the kick earlier. And we'll take a timeout. Welcome back, everyone. Matt Cassel stepping up, throwing, and wide open, and he dropped it inside the 25 is Jabbar Gaffney. Bill Belichick must be wondering what else. We have a penalty marker down on the far side.
Well, Gaffney finds that soft spot in the zone.
And the soft spot in his hands.
Man. Now, Ike Taylor.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense, number 24. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Where you saw Ike Taylor run over and pick up the ball after Gaffney dropped it. He must have in some way taunted Gaffney about dropping the ball. He might have flipped it. Did he flip it back to him?
Not a smart play.
No, not a smart play. Taunting in this game is, again, something that's very much frowned upon.
Especially when the opposition is still alive. Cassel throws. That's incomplete.
And because you got to keep in mind, it still is a 2-score football game. Yeah, it's 2 touchdowns with 2 two-point conversions, but it is still a 2-possession game. It's at the very outer limit of that 2-possession game, but it is what it is.
2nd and 10. We are just a smidge under 5.5 to play. Cassel. That's complete. Falk to the 35. Inside the 25 and a first down.
Now, one of the things that's bothering Matt Cassel right now is I don't believe Wes Welker has been back on the field since he took that huge shot from Ryan Clark.
Cassel gonna throw. Nobody there.
And when you subtract your leading receiver from the mix, there's Welker over on the sidelines, and
took a terrific shot earlier.
Ryan Clark was penalized 15 yards for unnecessary roughness and hitting a receiver in a defenseless position, but Welker has not returned since then.
On 2nd and 10, the give is to Falk, and Falk inside the 20, inside the 15-yard line.
And great job by Kevin Falk of finishing that run. Not every day you see Troy Polamalu come bouncing out backwards at the end of a run.
He is just an all-everything back.
He's been getting it done here for a long time.
10th season out of LSU. And Cassel sneaking for the first down. And would like a little hurry up from the crew. And we're going to measure.
Ed Hockley is calling for the chain game to come on out.
4:23 to play here in the 4th quarter.
This is going to be really close. If he's got it, which he just might, it's not going to be by more than an inch or two.
If he does have it, it will be New England's first 3rd down conversion of the day.
Ed Hockley down with the microscopic inspection again, and for the second time today, we've seen one that is an inch or less from a first down.
A scotch, a smidgen,
a microscope,
a tad,
a nanoscope.
New England 0 for 10 on third down conversions, and they're going to go for it here.
That is, wow. That 0 for 10. That is just stifling from a defense.
Kevin Falk is in the backfield behind Cassel. And let's see if Cassel keeps it, and he does. And trying to find some running room. And let's see where the ball will be spotted.
Well, Matt Cassel kept driving, kept those feet moving, and he got it. I don't think there's where the football is sitting right now. Yeah, he's got it. But it's end zone or bust for the Patriots.
3:51 on the clock. New England with all 3 of its timeouts remaining. Cassel throws. Intercepted. Picked off by Lawrence Timmons. Timmons gets a block, and he's going to take it down the sideline. Cuts it back to the 5. Did he get in? No touchdown call yet.
They're gonna confer.
They are not going to give him the touchdown. But Lawrence Timmons, the second-year linebacker out of Florida State, with the big play here.
Well, he steps right in front of Kevin Falk, reading Matt Cassel all the way. Now he gets a good block that takes care of Cassel. And then he kind of slowed down at the very end. Benjamin Watson is the player who comes in, and yeah, you could see the knee down. The official determined that the knee came down.
On 1st and goal, this is Gary Russell looking for the end zone, and he doesn't find it.
Wasn't Benjamin Watson the guy who chased down Champ Bailey in that playoff game out in Denver a number of years ago? I don't think this is going to have as dramatic a consequences as that, but
not since November of 06 have the Patriots turned the ball over 5 times in a game. That was an 89-yard return by Lawrence Timmons. On 2nd and goal, this is Russell straight ahead, touchdown.
And Greg, I'll say this. Tennessee and the Jets have been garnering a lot of attention this year. I think this game is a game where the Pittsburgh Steelers are saying, this is our time of year. This is where we turn it on. They know how to do it. This is a very impressive win in New England.
We talked about them yesterday a little bit, Dan. I don't know if under the radar would be quite it, but they've been a very quiet 8-3 coming into this game today.
Well, they've struggled. Willie Parker's missed 5 games. Roethlisberger with the bad shoulder that he says is much better now. They've been carried by their defense, but this is a really, really good win for the Pittsburgh Steelers to come into New England and win by this margin.
2:44 to play, 33-10 Steelers. A reminder coming up tonight on 60 Minutes. Michael Phelps, a rare inside look at his life since the Olympics, plus the great poker swindle cheaters who won $20 million and got away with it. Followed by new episodes of The Amazing Race, Cold Case, and The Unit. That's all tonight here on CBS.
I'm anxious to see that Michael Phelps interview on 60 Minutes. Could there be anyone in America who doesn't know who Michael Phelps is?
Sure.
Can't be many.
Didn't say at what level of
no, but there can't be many after what he did in Beijing.
Right. The Pittsburgh Steelers' loyal fans have seen their heroes put up 30 unanswered points.
And they pretty much have Gillette Stadium to themselves. And as is often a familiar sight for Steelers players, when they win on the road, there's always a couple thousand of their fans here that are ready to party on with them.
And a pretty tough trick to come into Foxborough and knock off the New England Patriots, and they have done it in impressive fashion, forcing New England into turnovers, 5 of them in all. This one scooped up at the 25-yard line by Stephen Neal. And Stephen Neal still on his feet and brings it back across midfield. Well, earlier today, Dan, let's check out. We saw those Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, Dwight Freeney with a strip. Robert Mathis picks it up and goes. Amani Toomer with a great burst there. The Giants, man, do they look good. And how about Carolina with that 4-point win against the Packers, who are struggling lately? There's how about the Giants at 11-1? If they're not the best team in the game right now, somebody please send me your suggestions as to who is.
And we'll quickly dismiss that. 2.5 minutes to play and the clock is moving.
And of course, the whole Plexico burst situation, Tom Coughlin and the Giants are going to have to deal with that this week, but it sure didn't seem to cause them a distractional problem today.
You know Tom, I know Tom. He must be fit to be tied.
He's normally red-faced this time of year anyway. I can't imagine his blood pressure when he got that news.
2 minutes to play at Gillette Stadium. Teddy Bruschi and the Patriots on the short end of the scoreboard. Yardage. We were talking with Mike Tomlin yesterday about that remaining Steelers schedule, and he was stoic.
He said, I don't look at schedules. It is what it is. We'll deal with it. But that's a load.
Cassel over the middle, and that is complete, and then knocked to the turf with Jabbar Gaffney.
You know, this is the original 1 week at a time league, and this was job 1 coming to New England. Now they take on the Cowboys at home, then they have to go to Baltimore and Tennessee before rounding it out at home against Cleveland. That's a challenge for anybody.
Minute 35 and counted. Cassel throws, and that's incomplete. Ben Watson missed it. 30 unanswered points.
Yeah, and that was opening day of the 03 season when they got beat by the Bills 31-0.
Meanwhile, what did Mike Tomlin say yesterday? We can't be one-dimensional if we expect to play football in January. Today, Pittsburgh, 161 yards rushing, 172 through the air.
Well, and the 162 on the ground. The Steelers' offense is predicated on running the ball. If they can't do it, they are going to struggle.
That pass is incomplete. While we have, now see, there's a penalty marker on the far side of the field.
Holding, defense number 26. 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Penalty is on to Shea Townsend. While we have a moment, the executive producer of the NFL on CBS is Sean McManus. The vice president of production of CBS Sports, Harold Bryant. Today's game produced by Mark Wolf, directed by Bob Fishman. The senior producer of CBS Sports in the NFL today is Eric Mann. Our director is Bob Matina. The coordinating producer of the NFL on CBS is Lance Barrow. The coordinating producer of CBS Sports is Steve Karasik. The associate directors of today's game, Brian Galvin and Alana Campbell. Our broadcast associates, Brian Jagoda and Chris Burns. Our technical manager, Jim Baker. The technical director is Dennis Stone. And our audio supervisor is Kevin Little. Our statisticians, Joe Castellano and Chuck Hinkle. And our spotter is the ever-popular Mike Gluck.
And thank you to all of you whose jobs today took you out into this weather. Our cameramen and everybody pulling cable and everything else. Job well done. We know this has been a long afternoon.
Even longer for Matt Cassel, who goes down courtesy of Lamar Woodley.
You think that's a fun way to spend an afternoon? Great job, everybody. Everybody down in the truck. But those of you in the truck got to stay dry and warm. No shelter from the storm out there. Well, you're not cold if you're winning. I would venture to say that right now almost everybody in yellow and black is pretty comfortable.
3rd and 12. And this has been Jarvis Green Ellis with some running room. 25 and tripped up as he approached the 20-yard line, and that'll be a first down. Final 10 seconds of the game. Matt Cassel wants to get another one off, and he's not going to be able to do it. 33-10. Pittsburgh, a winner over New England for Dan Deerdorf. Greg Gumbel to James Brown in New York.